So the Falcons today, they cut Jermaine Ifedi, all right? He is a guy that came in, Mike, from a roster standpoint.
Right.
That, listen, the offensive line, you guys know this, and this is why they drafted Matthew Bergeron from Syracuse. So right now, as I see it, we'll see it when camp rolls around, but you're talking about Jake Matthews, Bergeron at left guard, which has been the big hole, Drew Dahlman at center, Chris Lindstrom, stud, Caleb McGarry gets re-signed. That's your starting group. But you still have Matt Hennessy, Jalen Mayfield still here, which, again, you don't give up. Mike, I said this, whether you think he's going to be good or not, but he's a rotational guy at this point. You've got some other guys that they've gone out and
still
picked
got
up.
Justin Schaefer. Remember, picked him up last year, 6th-rounder.
And I'm looking at this. Who was the other guy they brought in? Gwynn, I think it is.
Javon Gwynn.
Yeah, they brought in Gwynn. They're trying to add some depth, but I got to tell you something. I think, Mike, when you start cutting offensive linemen, guys that you brought in to help you, you got to probably feel like your O-line is going to be better.
I got to be honest. There were times 2 years ago that Ifedi would have been the best lineman not named Lindstrom or Matthews.
That's right.
Right. So that does. I mean, if you read between the lines, yes, maybe we're getting some areas straightened out that were some major concerns.
All right, so that should make you feel a little bit better. Now, this O-line is not only going to be blocking and opening holes, hopefully, for Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier, but they're also going to be protecting Desmond Ridder, right? And that is part of this new-look line. Now, when we say new look, Jake's been in the league a long time. He's been, again, just steady. Dude's missed like one game his entire career. He's just been there. And the improvement has to come at left guard, Mike. But everybody that I've talked to said Matthew Bergeron is a road grader, man. He's a guy that's going to put people on their butts, and you're going to be able to run the football with Matthew on the field, and he likes to finish guys and all of this stuff. Now, we haven't seen him up close and personal, so, guys, we're just taking the word of scouts and people that I talk to about this. But then Drew Dahlman, does he take a leap as we're talking about this offensive line?
Yeah, I got to be honest. Drew Dahlman, I think he was doing a decent enough job last year, and they're certainly high on him. I just think because to his left was such a revolving door of players that, he really couldn't get. And maybe if you watched I know certainly when I watched from the stands, a lot of jailbreaks on the left side, and it came between the center and the left guard. And sometimes, look, Lindstrom is for the most part stayed clean. The only guy that really beat up Lindstrom was it Brown from the Carolina Panthers?
He killed him.
And that was about it. Lindstrom pretty much was Pro Bowl material.
But Brown killed everybody.
Yes. Derek Brown, right?
Derek Brown, yeah.
But, like McGarry, sometimes guys get a running start on McGarry, and it's like Fred Flintstone going backwards. But I do think the left side was an issue. That's why this guy, look, Mayfield, maybe he somehow gets back on the field if everyone else gets injured, but I don't want to see that. Either the injury or him on the field. This guy, Bergeron, to your point, Carl's a beast. And he's a tackle by nature. So, he's got the athleticism. But now the difference is tackle, you get a chance to set for like a 1001. In this case, the guys are right in your face in the interior line.
Yeah. We've talked about the improvement up front. I think it's going to happen. They were better than expected last year. I mean, again, with all the issues, we talk about this. We still were third in the league in rushing.
Right.
With all the issues we had. So if you're giving me a more athletic, more capable line, Mike, this season, then you've got to start believing that we're going to be able to throw the ball vertically more, which is something we didn't do a lot of, whether that was Marcus. However you want to blame it, I'll blame it on Marcus.
Right.
But you're going to be able to do that with Ridder. And then what does Desmond Ridder look like behind this better upgraded offensive line? Not Ridder, but Bijan Robinson. What does he look like, Mike? Because I've always said this. This is my thing about great backs, guys, and I think we got one. They make your offensive line look much better. If you talk to anybody that's ever blocked for any of these great backs over the years, they always tell you, like, the hole was this big and he somehow made a play out of it. That ability to turn nothing into something is, I think we have a guy like that now in Bijan Robinson.
And I know that this team is going to be, is going to be judged by the quarterback play no matter where we go. I think you're going to take the pressure off him. We already gave you all the different scenarios. Arthur Smith kind of went next level, getting into like some real wonkish stuff about the offensive line and how it's going to work and all the different schemes you can come up with, especially the manpower you're going to use at running back and the mismatches at tight end and wide receiver. But here's the thing with Ridder. The perception is still this guy is like a whole lot of nothing. For what it's worth, Carl, and again, take it with a grain of salt.
Who's saying this?
Well, a guy who needs to unbutton the top button because you look like an idiot. I'm sorry. There's no don't have your shirt open to your belly button like it's 1970s and your Starsky and Hutch, but don't do the top button. I'm talking about Chris Sims. Chris Sims has learned from the master, Mike Florio, to just create content and create some clickbait.
Yeah.
He had Desmond Ridder ranked as the 40th worst quarterback in this season. Starting the next year, he had Anthony Richardson ahead of him.
Oh, come on.
I mean, this guy
played 13 games in college. Stop.
Correct. And the record, 40 games, over 45 games that Ridder played, going to a semifinal national championship game with the Bearcats. So Look, and the other thing, he had Sam Howell ahead of Ritter. Ritter won 2 games. If nothing else, Howell did start 1 game and win it. So just using the most basic logic, but this is Chris Sims. It's what they do on Pro Football Talk. A lot of Falcon fans were getting crazy about it, sending me the link today on Twitter. I put it up there at Mike Belly, Jill.
All right, it's legit. I mean, now you just popping off.